What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Now, I'm Alex, and this week I want to talk about the new job postings at Warner Bros. Montreal. I do want to talk a little bit about the second game going on over there at Warner Bros. Montreal and how I believe that is how it's connected, okay? So I don't want people going after me about speculation for Batman. You can go after me of speculation for other things, and that's totally cool. And I know some of this isn't necessarily the newest thing in the world. There are literal job postings in February. There's a job posting in March, and those are going to be the ones that we look at to kind of see what's going on. But I know people have been saying, really, ever since I started doing this in July and August, that, hey, there have been a lot of different job postings over the last, I'd say, year at Warner Bros. Montreal, seemingly indicating it's not on the Batman game because they're for, like, lead positions. They're for, like, very, very high up positions, basically to kind of kickstart their second game. And again, what we know about Warner Bros. Montreal is they're working on 2 games. That's, I think, common knowledge up to this point, but if you guys don't know that, that's totally cool. They're working on 2 games. One is, obviously, this long-leaked, long-rumored Batman game. Whether it's Arkham, whether it's whatever, soft reboot, hard reboot, whatever you want to call it, it's the Batman game. The second game is something. We know it is in the DC universe. I doubt it'd be like a Batman, the sequel, so I don't think it's a sequel to the first game that they're making. My personal belief, my personal theory that I've always floated around, again, just speculation, I have no way of knowing this, and it's always just been my opinion, is we know they were, this part is we do know. We know they were working on a Wonder Woman game, and that game was canceled. Same thing with Suicide Squad game. I feel like it's possible they went back and tried again at the Wonder Woman game. I hope it's a Wonder Woman game, as long as it's something kind of outside. I don't think it's Superman. I don't think it's, again, the Batman Part 2. I think it's some other hero. Wonder Woman makes sense. Again, it's a character that they tried to do once, and I think, personally, and I know other game developers have done this, where sometimes you put a game down and you pick it up later. I feel like that could be the case with Wonder Woman. But again, let's look at this. So what's interesting here is if you go on Warner Bros. Games, if you go on like their official website, Warner Bros., not Warner Bros. Montreal, you can click on all the studios they own. Look at all these beautiful, beautiful studios. There's so many of them, and so many of them aren't making games, and that's totally cool. You click on them, and it goes to that specific studio's like job listing site, right? And if you go to Warner Bros. Montreal, you see at the bottom here, May 24th, 2019. And then you see a big gap until now, February 4th, 2020. So it's been almost a year since they posted any additional things. And what do they have here? Senior level designer, associate producer, level artist, contract, level designer, contract, storyboard artist, contract, physics programmer, technical art director, game designer, and those are all on February 4th. Then we have quality assurance software developer, which is February 12th. And then we have a senior writer, which was March 3rd. So that's the newest one. Big gap there as well. Okay, I don't think all of these are for the second game. I truly don't. I feel like you have to kind of pick and choose. Anything that has, again, like a senior thing to it, I feel like that is for the other game, though. Senior level designer, I think that's for the second game. Senior writer, I think that's for the other game. I don't think you hire senior positions in your company for a game that probably was supposed to release relatively soon, at least let's say within the next year. It's probably getting very, very close to done. You don't need a senior writer if the game is literally complete and now you're just kind of working out the last year. Yeah, you're going to be working out some things. Maybe you're even still going to be, recording voice work, stuff like that. But for the most part, the game is pretty darn close. Obviously, the last couple months are, and a lot of game developers, they'll always say the last couple months are the most important. But again, you don't need senior writers and senior level designers to do that. So again, I feel like those could very, very well be, and I think they are, I'll make that prediction, for their second game. What could that second game be? Not necessarily sure, but I feel like that's what they're doing here. Another thing to note with all of this, by the way, is that is a good thing, that if they're hiring so heavily for the second game, I don't think they necessarily do that. Well, I guess I should clarify. They're hiring for the second game because you got to be making the second game. So when the first game is done, everybody kind of goes into that second game. Maybe they hold off some of the team to work on DLC. Maybe they hold off some of the team to work on the next Batman game, because I do love studios that have more than one game going on at once. I think it's exciting because we do get faster, turnover. Although with these studios, we don't always get that. But in all seriousness, I do like that. There's always been rumors that Naughty Dog is working on another game, so when The Last of Us Part 2 is done, they can start talking about that. I like that idea, and I like the idea that the other game can be fast approaching, and then you can use part of the team, again, some parts of the team that are making this Arkham game, let's say, they can move over and help it. Say this one, let's give them names. So we have Arkham and Wonder Woman. The Arkham team can move over. Some of them help Wonder Woman. Maybe they don't help them at all. Maybe they've literally built two teams inside of Warner Bros. Montreal. It is possible. People have done it. Doesn't always work. Sometimes studios make two teams, and then sometimes they bring it back to one team. It really depends on the atmosphere of the situation. But maybe they do that. Maybe they hold off and they just make them start working on Arkham 2, whatever the next one is. And so now you have Batman, then Wonder Woman, then the next Batman game. It really, again, when you say it like that, it's very exciting. I really hope more of these studios are doing that. Now, the other ones, you kind of got to pick and choose. Game designer, that's possible that it's not for the second game. You could just be hiring game designers because the game could not be completed. Technical art director, a director. So, again, I feel like that could be a second one. Physics programmer, that's a pick or choose. You need that for either game, so you have to decide. The contracts are tough, especially because of what they are. Storyboard artist, level designer, and level artist. I think the level artist and level designer could be for the new game. That's maybe why they're on a contract. It's like, well, we're almost done. It's kind of a prove it thing. Maybe we hire you afterwards. The storyboard artist, though, storyboards are something you do in the very beginning. So why would you need that for a game that's almost complete? Again, I'm using a lot of this to, one, say that it really seems like of these last, how many other, like almost 10, a lot of them, and a lot of them say full-time, by the way, type. The last two, though, senior writer does not have full-time next to it, which is kind of weird. You would assume maybe it's like overtime that the senior writer would have to work. But I'm basically using this, again, for two different things. One, to show that they seem to very heavily, especially over the last 2 months, seem to be heavily focused on hiring for their second game, which is exciting. And it also shows that the first game needs to be kind of close to being done, because you really don't stock up the second game if the first game is nowhere near close, because then why are you even making a second game? Would the second game eventually overtake the first game? Again, a lot of this stuff may sound silly to some, but I know a lot of people will probably take this, and a lot of people have taken these kind of things in the past to say, well, look, they're hiring a senior writer. This Batman, and by the way, I'm saying this now, I hope people have made it this far. Those people, just ignore, okay? People that are going to say the senior writer, well, it's because they haven't even written the game yet, like it's still in early development. Just ignore those people. They don't know what they're talking about. Again, the game was not canceled last month. They didn't restart it again this month, stuff like that. So I really do think these titles, these job titles that sound more like preliminary, that they're starting off something, they are not for this newest game. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want other people to scare you guys. It's for the second game. I truly believe that. Again, some of them may not be associate producer. That could also possibly not be. There are 10 of these. I would say around 7 or 8 are for the next game, like almost guaranteed, okay? The quality assurance software developer, I was reading what that is. It involves them working with all of the studios, or actually 5 studios. It doesn't say which 5, but it would have to do with 5 studios. That has to do with like website stuff, and they have actually multiple jobs. So that person seems like, if you want to do that, you better have a lot of stuff that you're really good at, because it seems like they're going to be asking a lot of you, which is that's what a job is, right? But that one, I guess, pick or choose. That one could also just kind of be building up, getting ready. I know, obviously, remember last year they were hiring for basically a PR person, for somebody that could handle social media stuff, that could handle press and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully they did hire that person, and that person is there now. And I think, again, this is really, really exciting. I didn't see this. A lot of people have been telling me in recent videos or in live streams, they'll pop in and say, oh my God, Alex, check out their website. I don't know if they're like April Fool's pranks that are not on April 1st. I don't know if that's what people are doing. I check the website almost daily on my own, so I don't know if people are going to think that they can like get me to jump and do something stupid or make a bad video on purpose because like I jumped the gun, but I always check it. And I guess I didn't check this part. I didn't actually look at the job listings. I had seen, you can can look at it in different ways on Warner Bros. Montreal site, where it kind of, the black thing, where like the whole background is black, and in the corner it says like our world needs more superheroes or something like that. That way you can look at them all. You can get a little bit of information on there, but it doesn't say when they're posted. This one shows when they're posted. So I think that's a really important thing. I think that's something that we should look at. And then honestly, if you guys want me to, I haven't looked at Rocksteady's yet. I could look at something like that as well. But truly, a lot of these postings, again, show two things. One, they're hiring heavily for Team 2, which you do not do if Team 1 is very, very, they are slower. They're not making their game as fast as I think a lot of people would want. But you don't make it if Team 1 is struggling, is having all these problems, if the game just got canceled and rebooted or whatever, whatever narrative you want to say, all that kind of stuff. You don't pack up Team 2. You don't really stock them up if Team 1 is going to release their game in 3. I know we all make the joke that Arkham is coming out in like 2050, but at the same time, that is a joke, right? Ultimately, we do expect this game, I'd say, at worst over the next year. I think all of those earlier leaks would have said this fall. So I think at worst, even if you want to say, because of all the stuff going on in the world, again, I don't say the name, but if you want to give that excuse to them and say, well, maybe it's delayed till like the springtime, next spring, I guess you could give them that. But again, that's still 1 year away. You don't hire senior people that are basically built. If you click on the senior writer position, they're writing the dialogue and they're able to edit it. It goes through a long thing of what they expect this person to do. They're building the story of the game. You don't do that for a game that's done or again, almost done. They know the story of this Arkham game, so you don't need a senior writer to come in to write your story or rewrite your story unless, again, something is horribly, horribly wrong, but we don't know that, right? We can't predict that. So that's, again, I think those are some very, very important things to look out for. So even if we don't want to say, how does it affect Arkham, we actually can look at it and say, how do all these job postings actually affect the Batman game? How does it affect the second game in the franchise? All that kind of stuff. I know maybe I was misleading in the beginning of the video. I honestly didn't expect it to take. I don't really pre-plan where I expect these videos to go, but truly, I think you can read into it where the second game's going. I think you can read into it where Arkham is going. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What do you read into these job listings? Don't just say they're just job listings. I know people will probably just say that, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed. Have that bell icon rung. We're gonna do a more discussion, like the fun video, like we've done with these villain videos the past couple days. We're gonna do that one next, and I'm gonna have another speculation video for you guys after that. So kind of back and forth, and we'll try and keep that going. As always, if there's something that breaks Batman related, I'll obviously cover it. Thank you. Truly, I haven't said this in a little while for you guys specifically. You guys truly rock. Those Arkham, the Arkham community that have been with me for so long, those that are still there, whether you're silent and you don't leave comments and you just watch, or you do leave comments every time, I do honestly greatly appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking up for me too with all these haters that are always around in the Arkham community. But you guys truly, truly rock. Can't wait to get more people like us together. I think obviously as the game gets closer and closer, we are going to continue to build the community. We already do have a pretty big community. I think especially just like the viewership of some of these videos, they do get lower when there's not as much news Arkham related, and when there is news, like everybody comes back. So those that, again, stick with me through all this, you guys truly, truly rock. I truly appreciate you. Okay, so we'll see you in a couple days. Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to have a Rocksteady video, so look out for that if you guys want to talk about some Rocksteady with me, and then we'll go back to Batman in a few days. Okay, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.